connection.
Bless her heart.
Okay, Facebook is live. Instagram is live. Come here, Bowie. Come here. Come, pup. Come here. Come here, Bowie. This is what the video is really about. The perfectest dog in the whole wide world. I feel really bad for everyone out there who has lesser dogs, because this right here is the perfect pup. This is Bowie. Lady Bowie. Yes. Okay. Hi everybody, whoever is watching and signing on. I don't really love to do these little live things. Some of you know, because I've complained to you already. But I do love to engage with my friends, and so I'm gonna just pretend that you're all here with me and we're having a cup of tea and chatting. I just really wanted to share a little bit about the new single, talk about what it's about the new record, and yeah, just kind of let you in behind the scenes a bit. And yeah, I am such a nerd that I actually took notes, but you will thank me because that means I will not wax poetic for 45 minutes, but I'll keep this short and sweet.
That's really good.
I also have I have the peanut gallery over here in the corner, also known as my husband Greg, so that I don't feel like a complete weirdo talking to myself to the camera to random people. So he's here also to razz me and add random questions and maybe join us later on. So Heart in Remission. Yeah, this has been it's been a year. It's been a year for all of us. I started out, I was actually mapping out the timeline of this project, of the album today, and realized this is a 2-year project, almost 2 years from start to finish on production. It's been longer than that in terms of writing the songs for the album, but production from the moment of finding the producer, meeting the producers, to releasing the first single, almost 2 years, which feels like it feels like less than that in some ways, because this year's flown by, but it's also dragged at the same time. It's been the weirdest year. I have been really grateful to have gotten to work on music during this time when things were shut down. Just continually been grateful for being able to be busy with that, and working on that, and that the process was started before everything shut down. So yeah, I was just kind of stewing on that today, the length of time that it's taken to get to today, and that makes me really even more excited that it's here, it's happening. Heart in Remission was just put out into the world. My album is 8 songs, and I'll be releasing kind of one single at a time over the next few months, and then I'll drop the whole rest of the album in September. That's sort of the plan moving forward. But what is Heart in Remission about? Initially, and I think this is my process of songwriting, I kind of dive into a melody or a line or some phrase that sticks out to me, and I don't even really know why, but it just kind of haunts me, and I just work at it till something comes to the surface. And sometimes in the midst of that process, it becomes very clear what it is that I'm trying to communicate. But sometimes I don't even really know until the song is finished, even recorded and out in the world or whatever, before I realize, wow, this was what it was really for and really about. And that is the case with this song. It was just it started out as like I want to write kind of a fun pop song, and just threw some words in there. But the subconscious is a very interesting creature, so it's never random, I don't think. But I threw some words, some phrases, some stuff that just sounded good to chew on in the music, and at the time thought, this is a great song about longing for healing and renewal and having hope, and maybe a little disillusion thrown in there, but wrestling with that. And at the time that I wrote this song, I had been and have been over the past several years struggling with a chronic illness called CIRS, C-I-R-S. You can look it up later if you want. But I have been battling that for several years and had really fought to find out what was going on initially, and then find a way through that to function, to just function for myself, for my family. There were some really tough years in there. And so I think some of that informed this idea and this song. That definitely informs a lot of my music, of previous music that you've heard too. But something interesting happened when I was in the middle of production on this song. We're in the middle of the pandemic, in the middle of production, and I had a meeting with my doctor, a Zoom meeting, and I had been in treatment for about a year and a half at that point, or maybe a little more, and I'd been getting better and better on this protocol, this treatment protocol. And she said, Caitlin, based on what we see today, I really think you're in remission from these symptoms. And I got cold. I got like cold chills. And I knew that to be true because I felt better, but to hear her use those words, in remission, it was just really powerful. And she didn't know that I had worked on this song, but that was a shift for me to realize, like, wow, this song has a deeper meaning for me than I knew when I started out. And then also just the shift of life and the weirdness of the times. This song is way more relevant to today than I thought it would be or could have ever planned on. I think we're all, in a sense, like in this season of remission from coming through this pandemic. We're still in it in a lot of ways too. It's not like it's over, but there is a sense, at least I feel it, where people are starting to experience physical, real healing. The vaccine, people are going out more, we're able to interact more again, and there's a healing there, and there's just so much hope for renewal in those ways too. So it's really interesting. I'm really excited about the fact that this song kind of just has its own little life, and it really didn't have a lot to do with me. It was just kind of the random vessel that the Lord used. So that's the song. That's what it's about. As far as like the recording process, I'll start out by just talking a little bit about the people I got to work with and why and how I got to work with them. Because that's been a question I've gotten, is why New York? Why Brooklyn? Why did you have to go literally to the other side of the country to do this album? And really it started with 2 years ago, so 2019 summer. I was a part of this little kind of art conglomerate workshop thing, and got to meet John Seal, who's a producer at Mason Jar Music. He's worked with a lot of very cool people, and he is very cool himself. You should check out his music. It's Son of Cloud. Beautiful, beautiful music and beautiful voice. But he was just this really humble, sweet guy that I ended up sitting next to and chatting about music, and found out he's a musician. He produces music, and I'm working on an album, don't have a producer yet. And he asked me, he said, who are you listening to right now that you like, if you could make a record, who would you want to sound like, or who are you really resonating with right now? And no joke, the records that I named, I probably named 4 or 5 records, and at least 2 or 3 of those records, he had either produced that record or worked with the artist or had some connection to them and other production things. And I just couldn't believe it. It was like only God could have put us 2 in that room at that moment. And so I kind of really timidly was like, well, that's cool, so you produce too, you produce other people too. And I was like so nervous, but I didn't, like, I really wanted to be like, can you produce my music? But I didn't want to be a weirdo. So I just kind of chilled. Yeah, Greg was there. And so he was like, well, if you want, I'd be happy to listen to some of your demos. And I was like, sure, yeah, great, awesome. So I tried to wait a cool 24 hours before shipping off all my little demos. Long story short, he, offered to work with me and put together this album, and that was late July or early August 2019, and by February of 2020, that was when I flew out to New York. So between then and then, we were getting all the ducks in a row. But flew out to New York in February, got to meet Jeremy, the other half of the Mason Jar Music duo. They are amazing, an amazing team, and they pulled in incredible musicians. I've tagged them and I'll continue to tag them, and you should check out their work. They all just are, I've just been floored by their talent, by their humility and their graciousness, and to be able to have them pour into my songs is awesome. So got to record all of the music at that point in New York, flew home, pandemic hit, everything shut down, and I kind of had to rally and figure out what to do. There was no end in sight for a while, as we all know, so I didn't know what travel would be like, if and when. And I have beautiful, amazing friends here in New Mexico who lent me some excellent microphones, and we ended up being those people who bought an Airstream. And so I set my little Airstream up to be, Greg says it's for sale. It's not for sale. I ended up setting up my studio in there, and tracking all of my vocals. All of my vocals I tracked myself in the Airstream. And that has been that's one point to talk about here, is just I've really been so excited about the opportunity to grow as an engineer and a producer in this process. It's one of those things that I've been timid. I've always had a little bit of enough of knowledge of the equipment and the Logic or Pro Tools to get around, but never, I've just always been timid to take it to another level, and I always wanted to defer to the pros, which is not a bad thing. It's a great thing. But this really forced me to figure it out and to hone those skills a little bit more. And I realized I can do it. And I'm not half bad at it when given the opportunity and the right equipment. So I'm grateful for that opportunity. That's one definite silver lining in all of this, is that I've been able to work on that, and I am equipped now to do more of that, to do more on my own, which I really think is going to open up just more opportunities to make more music, put more music out there. So yay, that's been exciting. And that little Airstream has just been so great. It's cozy, and there were some challenges with it, like you can't run the heater when you're tracking vocals because it's loud. So I would run the heater for a minute, turn it off, record vocals, freeze my booty off, turn it back on really quick for a minute. So it was on and off. So I literally wore 17 layers, and it was interesting. And then at this point in the year, and I've tracked at different parts of the year now through this whole point, it can be really hot in there. And the same problem, you can't run the AC while you track vocals. So little challenges here and there. Also, garbage day is not a great day to track vocals, I figured out, because the garbage truck kept coming by all morning. First on one side of the street, then on the other. Anyway, garbage day, not great. But beside those challenges, it was such a wonderful experience. I'm gonna keep doing it. Just today I was in there recording a little acoustic version of Heart and Remission that I'll post in the next few days probably, and I'll stay tuned for more of that. So let's see, what else from my notes? What's next? As I said, I've got 4 more singles before the rest of the album will drop in September. I'm looking at printing in vinyl. So if you are interested in that, would you shoot me a little DM or a little comment, because I'm trying to figure out who would be interested in buying vinyl. we love vinyl. We spin it. I almost just want to do it so I can spin my own record, and just for that. But it's definitely an expensive process, and I won't do it unless I know, unless there are others that would join me in that. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I'd be curious to get stats on that. Gonna be recording some more acoustic versions of everything, or at least a few songs, just as a way to kind of interact with the music a little differently. Everything is so produced in such a wonderful way, but I also love the stripped back original nature of songs, where you can really kind of tune into lyrics and things. So I'm going to play around with that a little bit. And also we're working on some visual components to some of these songs. So on Friday, I'm going to start some filming with a friend of mine, and hopefully there'll be a few film related visual components to a few of these songs coming out. And that's about it. I don't know, do you have any other thing? Am I missing anything from the peanut gallery? Bowie, what do you think? In case you missed it at the beginning of this is Bowie, and she is the bestest.
Maybe I would just say a little bit about
do you want to come over here?
Fundraising, like shows and stuff at people's houses, and just like still
I mean,
that if anyone wants to,
people are opening up more outdoor venues for live stuff, I'm seeing, which is wonderful. We've been missing that so much, playing live, and I definitely would love to play these songs live. I feel like little backyard hangs with small groups is kind of the way to go. So if you're interested in that, if anyone you know is interested in just some backyard jams, hit me up. And we'll travel within reason.
the roadie is ready.
And my roadie is always ready to do my bidding. He's my beast of burden.
And I love it.
And oh, I do want to say one more thing, anyone that's still listening, that still cares. One of the coolest things that came out of being forced to do all my vocals here was that all these other components got added in that wouldn't have been added had I had, been out in New York and just had like 3 days to do all my vocals. That would have been so fun, but a different sort of dynamic. Here, I got to take my time. My kids ended up on the record, and I'm not going to tell you where or when, because they're like little Easter eggs. You have to be listening, but they're in there. Their little voices are in there a couple times. Greg is even in there once.
Easter egg.
Little Easter egg Greg.
Wow.
And I don't know, I just got to play, like there's some chimes that are, like it's so subtle. There's some stuff that's so subtle that you really have to tune in, and I loved putting that stuff in. I got to play a hammered dulcimer, and just on one song in particular, I really got to do some funky stuff, and I hope you love it as much as I do. But I read poetry at one point and sing in Latin. Yeah, so, but that stuff never would have happened. It just never, I would never have been able to take the time to be creative and be brave and take risks like that, I think, in the studio in the same way. So that was something that was really cool. And I think that's it. So thank you guys for tuning in and listening and streaming the song. One thing that you can do to help if you are interested in helping is to just share the song, put it on a playlist. If you do playlists wherever you stream, that's really helpful. For whatever reason, the little robots, little algorithm robots, they track the playlisting thing, and they track how many streams. So for indie artists, that's a big help. But yeah, thank you for listening. I cannot wait to share more music. Got another tune coming out at the end of the month, so stay tuned. And also stay tuned while I try to figure out how to turn this off. And this.
I am job.
I don't know how. Finish? Okay. Bye!